Welcome to Dad's Wallet, where we help you save money and build lasting wealth. I'm Dan, your money coach, and this week we're going to be saving you money on your travel. First step to saving money on your travel, if you're going to rent a car, use a different tool called AutoSlash. It will help you find the best rate for your rental car, and you don't have to prepay for your car. Once you book with them, you'll be able to search for better prices and options. And even better, if you booked with someone else, you can submit the rental information to AutoSlash and they'll search to make sure that there's no better rate available. Now, if you're a diehard fan of a specific carrier, you can still use this tool, but best of all, their service is completely free. So why not try and give it a shot? Your second step to saving money while traveling is to go big at lunch. Plan for your nice meal to be lunch instead of dinner. Now, this is hard to remember and it's extra hard to do, but lots of places have lunch dishes that are similar or identical to their dinner menu offerings, and they're even cheaper. In Europe especially, multi-course lunch specials are very common and they won't cost you much at all. Plus, if you're going to be in a different time zone, maybe, hours ahead or behind, then it could be even better for you and your health. Here's your third step to saving money while traveling. It's pretty simple, just buy less stuff. So as you're planning to get ready for your travel experience, start saving up. And the best way to do that is going to be to cut expenses. Now, if you have a big trip planned, maybe you're planning to go on a honeymoon or something, maybe this is a good motivating time to increase your income side, because you're only going to be able to reduce your expenses down to zero, but you can continue to increase your income virtually indefinitely. Your fourth step to saving money while traveling is to opt for an off-season experience. So there's going to be a lot of times if you Google, what's the best possible season to go to X, Y, or Z? Maybe it's September in Maine, but there's so many options, maybe even just on the other side of the calendar. Consider plus or minus 6 months of wherever you're going, and that might be a time that less people will be there, but it's just as beautiful, and you're going to be an overall better experience, especially if you're the only one there. Why don't you go ahead and like and subscribe to let me know that you're enjoying this content. Drop a comment below for your questions and what I may have missed with these travel saving tips. Here's your fifth tip for travel saving. It's going to be to fly on an off-peak time. So what I mean by this is over the weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're going to find the biggest expenses. And it's pretty easy to gauge this when you log into your airline that you plan on using and look at all the different flight options. Shift around those days and see how much you could save by leaving a day earlier or later. And so I also use things just like simply Googling the different travel times and options, and they're going to be able to provide you a better resource for what to expect when traveling during a specific time and season. I recommend logging on using Chrome and using an incognito tab so that you're not being tracked on what you're searching for, so that airlines and travel companies can't jack up your prices. And then also really look at all the different ways that you could be using other portals. Maybe you have a credit card with a travel portal on it. Maybe you could use a third-party service. It's going to help you get better rates depending on where you're going and when. Our next travel saving tip is finding a home away from home. So the first default selection for most people, especially if you're maybe in your 40s, 50s, 60s or higher, is going to be going to your favorite hotel chain no matter where you are in the world. And oftentimes that's going to be more expensive and sometimes a worse experience than using one of these clear services that are so popular now. Airbnb, VRBO, there's all these different ways that you can be having a more personal experience, or maybe something off the beaten path. And so it could save you money and be an overall better experience. I can't think of a better win-win than that. Our seventh travel tip for saving money is going to be book activities ahead of time. Now, if you're someone that loves things like cruises, you probably know how expensive and impossible it can be to book an activity when you arrive at a port. And that goes for if you're flying in, you're going to be spending weeks or months in a location as well. You need to be planning far in advance, especially in our post-COVID world where we see so much travel happening and there's just not as much supply to meet the demand for all these different experiences in different destinations. So get out there and do the research ahead of time on what you would like to do and go ahead and book in advance so that you'll be ready the moment you land. Our next tip in travel saving is going to be look for those free experiences. Think of churches as free museums. They're full of art. There's all kinds of sculpture and architecture and history built into them. And oftentimes you can find people like docents at church that are just there to explain all the history that you're going to be able to experience in some of these free places or places that you can access with a small donation. So go ahead and look up ahead of time. There's tons of reviews out there for how to find entertainment and fill in some of those gaps in your travel schedule with things that are going to be off the beaten path and are going to save you money, but maybe are going to provide a surprisingly rich experience. Our next travel tip for saving money is going to be to rely on locals. Now, if you have an Airbnb host, we had this great guy named Luigi in Rome. I kid you not, I double checked, his real name really was Luigi, mustache and all, and he was amazing. He wouldn't just tell us where to go, he'd introduce us to his friends at local restaurants that we already had picked out. Now, finding someone like this isn't impossible. You can check right in the reviews from the places that you're going and you're staying, and they're gonna have these people. I mean, I know that I'm someone that is gonna drop a review, let everyone know that Luigi's the man, and he's gonna help you find exactly what you need in town. And so, in those situations where, one time, my wife needed crutches because she tore an Achilles while we were in Italy, and it was an awful experience, but it made it a little bit nicer to have a great host and a great local who knew which pharmacy was actually open at a specific time to make sure we got what she needed. And so, it's also for the unexpected. It's for those times where you have things that you didn't plan for, and is going to make your overall stay just that much better when you look back on and say, well, that's not how we planned for everything to go, but we still had a great time no matter what.